Welcome back to my Scaredy Pants series. This time I want to bring your attention to some spooky games that have free demos up right now on Steam. Some of them have already been released, others are still waiting on release dates, but all of them are dark and creepy. And this first one actually has 2 demos. Holstin is equal parts beautiful and innovative and has you explore a deserted town that's been infested with a dangerous oozing substance. The first demo focuses on exploring an old house as you search for a missing friend. It's all about the atmosphere here and showing off this rotating, pixelated, isometric point of view. There are some basic survival horror puzzles like a good old fuse box and moving light bulbs from room to room in order to scare the slime away. Part 2 of the demo is where we get to test out the combat, which just so happens to switch your perspective to this over-the-shoulder view. And I've never seen anything like this. Some people have said this abrupt movement makes them feel nauseous, but I honestly barely noticed it when playing because it just feels so smooth. Overall, Holstin has a lot going for it. I've already made 2 other videos about the game and plan on doing a third whenever the last demo is out. In that one, you'll be set free in this small Polish town with people to talk to and quests to complete. If you like your horror with a bit of humor, then I got you covered. 10 Dead Doves is a fixed camera narrative horror game about avoiding strange noises and venturing deep into the woods with your best friend. The 2 characters, Marcus and Sean, have some witty banter that somehow heightens the tension and makes the first scare that much worse. It's a bit difficult to describe exactly how 10 Dead Doves makes me feel, but it certainly is cinematic and it most definitely is strange. Almost the exact opposite of the first game. In that one, you get to choose your perspective, decide which angle you want to view the world from. But with this, you have no choice and just have to go along for the ride. 10 Dead Doves is coming out sometime next year. Next up is Heartworm, which is kinda your more classic retro survival horror adventure. One of those games that makes me feel nostalgic for something I never even experienced until very recently. Sam, fueled by her obsession with the deaths of those close to her, researches ways to contact the dead. She stumbles down a dark internet path, finding a message board with users discussing a house in the mountains that supposedly has some connection to the afterlife. Naturally, she decides to take a visit to this house, and that's where we pick things up. This is probably the tensest game on this list, and the build-up to the first enemy encounter is perfectly done, in my opinion. Like, what's better than creeping through an old mansion in the dark? I also really like the look of this one. It just has that classic PS1 style, but everything is also somehow more detailed. Throw in these door animations and we have ourselves a spooky game that's set to come out in 2024. Now, I don't usually prefer frights of the first-person variety because they're generally just too scary, if we're being honest here. But Blessed Burden just so happens to cross over into one of my favorite genres, platforming. I'm sure this isn't the first horror platformer out there, and I definitely don't think it'll be the last. You play as the only surviving priest after an apocalypse and have to make your way through trap-filled tunnels and labyrinths, all in search of the Book of Relics, which contains the secrets of how to reincarnate the world after this war. What I really like about the game is that you can choose to play fast and aggressive or slow and steady depending on your skill level and preference. Either way, you'll be investigating and collecting artifacts to learn about the apocalypse and what exactly happened. So those first 4 games aren't released yet, but these last 2 are. Fear the Spotlight came out on September 15th and has 99% positive reviews on Steam. Another classic survival horror experience, this time in an empty school after a late-night seance gone wrong. What's even better, it's described as Silent Hill for young adults. No jump scares, a focus on story, and a tense, creepy atmosphere. A great gateway horror game for those new to the genre. And it was developed by Cozy Game Pals. What a fitting name. It really does capture the vibe of being inside a school late at night, like you're in a place that wasn't really meant to be seen after the sun sets. There's no combat here, but there are tons of these zoomed-in environmental puzzles that I'm a huge sucker for, and it overall was a fantastic demo. Compared to Ghost at Dawn, it looks like a walk in the park. I actually just put up a review for this last one, and it does have combat and maybe a few too many jump scares. This one is a bit rough around the edges in terms of the tank controls and combat, but absolutely nails this noir haunted hotel vibe. It uses some of the most extreme tilted camera angles I've ever seen, and it's especially scary in the beginning sections before you have any idea what the hell is actually going on. But as with all the games I showed off in this video, don't take it from me. Go play these demos for yourself. And if you're looking for more spooky games, specifically survival horror titles, I've picked 7 other games to tell you all about in this video.